on Outback Truckers. Scrap trucker Russell McDonough
Go down and smash some cars.
is trying to get his business and his health
Still a bit puffed out from when I was a crook.
on the road to recovery. Macca McCready hits stormy seas,
Such a ball buster.
taking a world-famous yacht
If I crack the hull, someone's burnt $50,000 for nothing.
on a cross-country voyage. And for two-up team Bluesy and Nolene,
Get out of the road.
a routine run
Brain dead at times.
turns into a rescue mission.
Oh dear, how did I know there was something wrong?
Cutting through the red heart of Australia, the Tanami track is 1,000 kilometres of desert, dust and truck-chewing corrugations. Out here, only the very toughest can survive.
It's just a hard road.
One of those is 57-year-old scrap metal trucker Russell McDonough.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
Russell's on a journey to collect scrap metal from one of the most remote regions on the planet. Based in Alice Springs, he's heading to the isolated community of Yuendumu, deep in the Outback. From there, he'll make a series of runs further into the desert. For the last 8 years, Russell's business has been scrap.
We pay cash for scrap, copper, brass, aluminium, mag wheels.
Turning metal into money at the yard he runs with wife Nikki.
Behind every successful business is a successful and very smart woman. Successful and sexy.
Recycling is their passion, and their pride and joy is a mobile car crusher designed and built by Russell from pieces of scrap in his yard.
There were a lot of people that said, you just can't build one of these things with the gear you've got in a junkyard.
But Russell built it anyway.
Have a look at that, you know. But do you reckon I can't do anything?
It's a 25-ton monster which can chew through 100 cars a day. Russell trucks it around the Outback, recycling car wrecks which litter the landscape. But eking out a living in the desert is a constant battle.
It is that harsh. It breaks things that normally never break.
On this trip, Russell's desperate to make up lost time. Months of it. For the past 8 weeks, he's been seriously ill with a lung infection.
So I thought I was bulletproof, but something caught up to me. It actually has been a fair blow to us financially. Even once I was better, I still wasn't better enough to go to work.
Now, Russell's business needs an urgent injection of cash. His plan? Collect the crusher from where it was left in Yuendumu, then hit a mother load of car wrecks at nearby sites. If Russell can stack his 3 trailers with crushed cars, he should be able to pull his business back from the brink. It's a big job, which calls for a crack team. Helping with the trucking side is old mate Danny, and on the machines, 19-year-old Rowan, who's like a second son to Russell. To pull it all off, Russell needs to put his truck, his crusher and his body on the line in one of the harshest places on earth. At Fremantle Sailing Club, boat trucker Dave Macca McCready is sweating on getting his load exactly right.
You do your very best to get your measurements millimetre perfect.
About another 50, please. I've just got to move this across, mate. That's good, buddy. Dead straight, mate. She's right in the middle there.
He's loading a 12-metre long, 7.5-ton racing yacht that was never meant to be carried over land.
They don't actually design them to be trucked across some of the roughest bitumen roads in the world. Okay, you can put it down at that, Dave. There's a lot that you have to kind of get your head around. This is absolutely the moment of truth. It takes quite a bit of patience and sort of foreseeing what could go wrong. I've been doing it for a long, long time.
34 years, in fact, with all sorts of loads, but boats are Macca's specialty.
You know what? I haven't even scratched one. Touch wood. This won't be the first either.
Even with his experience, the task before Macca is daunting. He's got to move this boat 5,000 kilometres to a prestigious sailing regatta near Airlie Beach in Queensland. That's further than crossing the Atlantic, but on this voyage, he'll have to navigate some of the most brutal bitumen in Australia. The starting gun for the regatta won't wait. Macca has just 8 days to get the job done.
Rocco forward a little more, mate. Work.
People have faith in me that I can get it done. And I find myself waking up at 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. My brain is calculating, is that measurement correct? Will that fit there? How will the boat sit? Bow down, bow up?
Also weighing on his mind is the knowledge that this isn't just any yacht. This is Hitchhiker. She's a piece of sailing history. In the 1980s, she represented Australia at 2 Admiral Cups. Her cutting-edge design made her one of the fastest yachts in the world. To build, she cost close to $800,000. But to her millionaire owner, Peter Briggs, she's priceless.
Well, there's a great pride. This is a part of my life, and has been for a long time. This boat, in a funny sort of way, the excitement it can give you keeps you motivated to want to do things in life, keep going.
Trucking a yacht across Australia isn't cheap. Her return ticket will cost $50,000.
A lot of money at stake and a lot of time at stake.
It all adds up to a perfect storm of stress. A precious, fragile load, a brutally long road, and a deadline which can't budge. In Perth, 2-up team Bluesy and Nolene are in the last place they want to be.
Oh, do not. Get yourself a new secretary. It's just a passenger.
Crawling through grey city streets during rush hour.
Big rush to get to nowhere, just to a red light.
It's a world away from the empty outback roads this couple love.
Don't care about my lifestyle.
One lifestyle, all we do is work.
Once they clear Perth, they'll be heading to the mining town of Kalgoorlie. It's a 1,200 kilometre round trip deep into the goldfields of Western Australia. In Europe, that kind of run could get you through 6 countries. On this trip, they'll be lucky to see 6 towns. Bluesy's been driving solo for more than 30 years, but for the last 6, he's shared the cab with his partner, Nolan.
He looks after me and protects me and makes sure I'm safe, and the boot's on the other foot.
Driving 2-up means watching each other's back.
When he's climbing all over trailers and chaining things down, or even when he's driving in traffic, he's got 2 sets of eyes in the truck, not 1, because I'm always looking out for him.
On this trip, they'll have to take on one of the busiest outback highways in Australia, in the rain and the dark. And there's extra pressure coming from the boss. On a rare day off, Bluesy and Nolene have been called in to make a vital last-minute delivery. A 40-foot container. It must be in Kalgoorlie by sunrise tomorrow, in just 14 hours' time.
Got the container off.
Okay, wait on, goddammit.
The job's so short notice that no one knows what's in the container.
Ask the boss what it is, he hasn't got a clue either.
Or where exactly it's supposed to go.
We're off to Kalgoorlie to deliver. I know where, but I'll find out.
With a tight deadline to beat and a hard road ahead, it's down to Bluesy and Nolene to get the job done. But push too hard out here and things can turn ugly in a hurry. On the Tanami track, north of Alice Springs, Russell McDonough is on his first job since recovering from serious illness.
Felt something back earlier. Just going to do a bit of a tyre check.
But only 2 hours into the trip, he's hit his first setback.
Still got a couple of tyres to change.
It's the hottest part of the day, and Russell is far from 100%.
They're tight. They're under that much pressure that if the nut's off and I hit that, it could fly off and break my kneecap. They normally come off fairly easy. But this one's just been pounded and pounded with rocks.
These tyres weigh 55 kilos each.
I'm in a bit of a sweat up, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm still a bit puffed out from when I got crook.
Just weeks ago, Russell was in hospital battling fungal pneumonia. He caught it after breathing in a spore carried in Outback dust. This is his first hard graft since he's recovered. It's a major test of his health in a place which breaks even the toughest of truckers.
Russell being Russell, he'll just push himself through.
300 kilometres south, Danny O'Connor is on his way to meet up with old mate Russell.
The man hasn't been able to do a full day's work yet, so it's going to be interesting when we get out there. And he won't ask for help. He's just a small operator.
When he heard about Russell's illness, he volunteered to help out. He's driven a massive 1,500 kilometres from Adelaide in South Australia to do his bit.
He hasn't done any work for the last 2 months, so I don't have to be a brain specialist to know that he's going to be doing it tough, you know.
After weeks of planning, Macca McCready is casting off on his epic voyage. It's a high-pressure job, but he wouldn't have it any other way.
I love the challenges of tricky loads. It suits my nature. Deep within me, there's a certain amount of paranoia that runs around that I will get stale and doughy through just doing mundane things all the time.
But there's nothing humdrum about this load. At 4 metres, Hitchhiker is wider than 2 cars, and she has to squeeze into a single lane. If she clips a tree, a pole, or another vehicle, her fragile hull could be punctured, ending her race before it's even begun. Watching Macca's every move is his pilot, Andy.
Andy's moved across, and he's stopping the traffic from scooting up the inside of me. He's basically my wingman. He's running rear blocker for me. You want to swing across now, Andy, and shut the door for me? If I see something up ahead that I think looks a bit narrow for us, I'll call him on the radio and I'll ask him to close off the lane again so I can move across.
They've made it through the city. Welcome to the Outback.
This is what this yacht doesn't like.
Only 300 kilometres into the journey, the road is deteriorating fast.
When the road's rough, you find your just concentration levels just skyrocket. Looking at the surface, looking in the mirror all the time, checking your straps, you know, watching the boat rock and roll. You find your mind's always just looking for trouble, looking for things.
But trouble has found Macca.
One of our bow straps, as I can see it, has come loose. Trailer flexing on the rough road.
If the strap gives way, the entire front half of the boat will start bouncing, driving the support struts through the hull.
How far to go to Southern Cross, old mate? I got a strap that's working its way loose up on the bow. We got much further to go, mate. So as you can see, this one's come quite loose, so I've got to fix that up. It's better that I deal with it now. Could damage the mast, and we don't want that to happen.
On further inspection, Macca discovers it's not just one strap that's the problem.
See that? That's actually a little looser than what we want. That one's come loose. See this? Tweak him up. This is the problem area. This is the area that we spent a lot of time prepping.
Delays like this cost Macca precious time. After driving all day, he's covered barely 300 kilometres.
Today was the day about getting it down the highway a little ways, seeing what breaks, seeing what gives up, seeing how much trouble we can get into. And then the real voyage starts tomorrow. After that, if we muffed up, then we're in the shit.
Macca's race has truly begun, but carrying a wide load means he can only drive in daylight.
It's as good as we could have hoped for, but as you can see, we've only got into the first 40 or 50 k's of rough road.
At the end of day 1, Macca has 4,500 kilometres to go in just 7 days. On the road to Kalgoorlie, Bluesy's given the reins over to Nolene.
Update is, boss is asleep and I'm behind the wheel. And I get the skinny road. Yuck.
She's heading out of Perth on the Great Eastern Highway, one of Australia's busiest roads.
There ain't much room to move. They haven't actually widened it or done a lot to it.
After a recent spate of collisions and rollovers, it's also one of the most dangerous.
Yeah, pretty rugged and pretty rough. It's as bad as some of the gravel roads. In the night time, it's not too bad because there's not that much traffic, so you can sort of hang on the white line in the middle. Just got to watch what you're doing. Be aware of where you are on the road.
To make their tight deadline, Bluesy and Nolene must take turns at the wheel. Suddenly, in the dead of night, Nolene gets a rude awakening.
Oh, hello. You woke me up. How did I know there was something wrong? Oh, dear.
It's a friend 300 kilometres further ahead. His truck is crippled on the side of the road.
I knew something was wrong, but bloody woke me up.
He needs their help. After pushing as hard as they can, Bluesy and Nolene finally reach their mate.
There he is.
What they find isn't pretty.
Holy moly. Oh my, what a mess. Oh, don't.
It's a double tyre blowout. Dealing with this mess is going to cost them precious time.
Oh, yuck.
In the isolated desert settlement of Yuendamu, Danny, Rowan and Russell have finally caught up with each other.
No worries.
My job, whatever needs to be done, we just do. You know, just all hands in.
Russell's car crusher has been sitting here for months, gathering dust and rust. His first job is to get it going. A loader and excavator are the heavy lifters of his operation. But there's a problem with the excavator.
It's a fraction embarrassing. We've actually forgotten to bring the key out for this little machine.
Russell seems to be able to fix everything with a little 6-inch shifter, and I have trouble fixing some things with my whole toolbox. He's a very clever man.
Start it up there with the shifter and turn it off down here by hand. No worries.
Next job, load the crusher and machines onto the trailers.
Just make sure everything's right. And then, yeah, go down and smash some cars.
It's a hard life for a car in the Outback. Dumps like these are a regular sight. The vast distances make mechanics and tow trucks unaffordable. When a car dies out here, it ends up in a graveyard like this. And that's where Russell comes in. First crush of the day. With a downward pressure of 200 tonnes, it's like a blue whale sitting on your car roof.
Like the crunch, the bang, the actual noise that comes out, near on terrifying sometimes. You know, it's a fair old big hunk of machine. Whatever you put in there comes out destroyed.
Crushing cars is a 4-step job. First, strip the exhaust.
This part here I call a catalytic converter. Contains platinum, radium and one other precious metal.
Then remove the engine with a little persuasion from the loader. When it comes to engine removal, Russell holds the record.
1 minute 13.17. 1 minute 43.5.
Step 3, crush the leftovers. Step 4, stack the bodies high. Get it right, and a dump like this can turn a tidy profit. One catalytic converter is worth $50. A clapped-out engine, $100. One rusty wreck, $200. Where most people see nothing but junk, Russell sees pay dirt. He'll need every last scrap of it to get his business back on track. On the outskirts of Kalgoorlie, Bluesy and Nolene have arrived at the breakdown site of friend Peppy.
One's taken out the other. I'd say that one there blew first and took out that one. And then it would have popped and gone bang.
He's had a dangerous double blowout. To make matters worse, he's blown his drive tyres, which deliver the engine's power.
And you can see where the rubber's flapped around and belted all the paint off, and it's taken out the light on the back of the prime mover. Rubber ends up everywhere. That's what a tyre looks like when it disintegrates.
And there's more bad news. Metal and rubber flying off the tyres has punctured an airbag.
Airbag bucket.
They're part of the truck's suspension. The leak has dropped the truck so low onto its axles, it's stopping the tyres from fitting on.
How are we going to fix this situation, Bluesy?
Bluesy tries his biggest jack. But even that can't lift the truck high enough. However, Nolene has a brainwave.
You want to try and block that bag off?
If they can block the leaking airbag, they should be able to raise the truck by pumping up the others.
We'll go and find something.
Nolene thinks she's found the right part for the job.
Take that down a pet.
A tap which should close the air supply to the airbag.
Is that any good or not?
Take your stupid ideas away.
Hey.
It
What?
doesn't fit.
Yeah, go on, blame me.
Bluesy has to keep jacking. Finally, one wheel is on.
Hang on.
But the truck's still not high enough to fit the last wheel.
Just jack it up, boy, Pip.
The jack's as high as it'll go. But no amount of manpower can get the tyre on. Repair options are running out fast.
Yeah, no, I understand what's happening. Listen, if I put it under here...
And there's another problem. While Bluesy and Nolene have spent all morning helping a friend, their own load should have been delivered 10 kilometres down the road 5 hours ago. Macca McCready has been heading east for 5 days. Now he's about to turn north towards the Queensland border. From here, he's sailing straight into cattle country.
Yeah, got some stock up there, did you say, mate?
Yeah, stock, mate. From the road.
Ah, Reggie, thanks for that, mate. We'll have a look for it. Cheers. There's cattle ahead. We're ready to start slowing down, and we've got an eagle eye out looking for stock. If we hit a cow at 80 kilometres an hour, the cow would die for sure. It would drive the bull bar through into the front of the bonnet of the truck, so it would stop the whole trip, and the yacht wouldn't be going any further. So the whole thing would turn into an absolute disaster.
Hitting cattle isn't Macca's only problem. Where there's cattle, there's cattle grids.
Down, we got 1 and 4 metres.
Wow, that was a rough one. Yeah, mate, we hit that last grid pretty hard. Yeah, something's definitely come loose. If we leave it unattended, there's every chance the boat could fall off the trailer, and we don't want that to happen. That back pad has come loose. This is such a fragile hull that the boat won't live with the kind of extra pressure these two pads have got to take. So we can't have this thing rolling around because it will damage the bottom of the boat. If we get a big lever on it to increase the pressure, we'll wind it up too hard. They only have to be there just to stop the hull rocking.
The problem's fixed, but every stop means more lost time. If Hitchhiker is to make her deadline, Macca needs to push on.
Road surface here is pretty good, Andy. What do you feel on it? Up the ante by 10.
Finally, it's the Queensland border. Different state, very different roads.
This is the worst road that we've been on with this yacht. Such a ball buster. Here comes a couple more now. Back into that trailer, I can see it. It's doing this. On the road, I've got to slow down. Otherwise, the back end of that trailer is copping a hike.
If I crack the hull, there'll be 10 really pissed off guys and someone's burnt $50,000 for nothing.
Until now, Mac has been telling his millionaire client all's on track. But now he's starting to worry.
We've virtually led him to believe we're almost there.
He has just 3 days to make it to one of the most prestigious regattas in the world. For Macca, there is no second place.
So we're going to look really sad if we have to make another phone call saying, well, we nearly got there, but we didn't quite get there. We sure as shit don't want to f*** it up now.
After clearing out 3 car dumps, Russell McDonough and his team are heading 50 kilometres south to their final stop.
This is a whole lot of fun driving on these corrugated roads.
Russell's health is holding up, but 3/4 of the way through the job, he's only managed to crush 1 trailer load of cars. To make money, he needs to fill all 3 trailers on his 50-metre road train. As the team arrive at the last dump, the desert sun is burning white hot. It's now 39 degrees. And the heat is starting to take its toll on the gear.
This is the fuel hose we were using. It flattens out. When it gets hot, it just melts, causing the thing to starve for fuel. So we just grabbed a bit of this fuel hose off one of these cars. I don't know how long it'll last or whatever, but it's got to be better than what's on there.
While he's only 19, Rowan's a handy mechanic who takes pride in fixing the job on his own. He needs to find a spare part amongst the wrecks. But while he's gone, Mr. Fix-It takes over.
Fitted a new suction hose to the lift pump, cleaned out the gauze filter. Just got to bleed it up now, which is just pump the fuel through till there's no air coming out.
Russell may have done the job, but Rowan's not happy.
It gives you the shit sometimes. And I was doing it. When somebody sort of cuts in over the top of you when you're trying to do something, you just don't know where you're at or what they've done or what anybody's done, you know? It's just like, why didn't you stay away in the first place? He should be getting his crusher ready, but he's not, okay? Crusher ready, Kim Wasabi?
After 5 long, hot days in the Outback, Russell's crew are ready for a break. But at the last car dump, there's a treasure trove of wrecks waiting for them. The traffic's moving again, 3 cars at a time. Russell's crusher's in a feeding frenzy, and the body count is piling up. If the boys can keep this pace up, they'll bust out of this dump before sunset and head home to Alice Springs. But suddenly, Rowan has a problem. With the loader out of action, the production line grinds to a halt.
Ah, yes, it's going to go. Cool. It's going to get in.
On the outskirts of Kalgoorlie, Nolene's problem solving has paid off.
Yes! Took the connection off the airbag, found a tap that fitted, and switched it off, and now their other airbags will pump up. With a bit of luck, we'll be all good.
The stranded truck has risen high enough to get a spare tyre on.
Mission accomplished, all done. Just make sure nothing else is flapping or banging or not doing what it should be.
They've got their friend moving, but the favour has come at a high price. It's midday, and Bluesy and Nolene were supposed to have delivered their load first thing this morning. Their destination is only a few kilometres away. That's if they can make sense of the boss's directions.
Up there.
It's up there.
I said, we're just going to go to Kalgoorlie. I said, yeah, that's what it says there. Where? I don't know.
Somewhere.
You'll find it.
You'll find it. Keep heading down here, and it'll veer around to the right. So, quick bits depot. Now this here on the left. Bogger. Containers, that's it. Nobody's home.
Nolene's followed the directions to the letter, but ahead, there's nothing but empty yards.
Can you see what's written under that containers sign up there? Up here. Containers.
Containers.
Yeah, but I can't see anything else.
Nope. I want all that chocolate.
Breakfast.
This is the best part about truck driving. Waiting.
Not.
It's another big headache. The morning is gone, and Bluesy and Nolene still haven't delivered their freight. Instead, they've been left high and dry in Kalgoorlie.
Now. Someone will find us.
We got 680k to go. This is going to be a big, hard day.
Macca's epic yacht race is going down to the wire. He has just 10 hours to get his priceless load delivered to Airlie Beach.
We're pushing really bloody hard. Our deadline is 5 o'clock. The owners want this boat there by then, so we're cutting a really fine line at the moment.
If he's to make it in time, Macca must average 70 kilometres an hour. Every stop and every delay will put him under even greater pressure. But up ahead, there's more slow going. First, some big towns, followed by a long descent through a mountain range.
We can't afford any more hold-ups.
A leaking tyre is the last thing he needs.
I literally do not have the time to stop and pump that up. The worst case scenario is it'll blow. 34 years of trucking, I'm making an educated guesstimate that my outside tyre is strong enough, tough enough to take the load for the last little run into the finish line.
Macca's only a matter of hours away, but it's touch and go whether he'll make it.
Getting in there at 5 o'clock is absolutely critical. We've got guys ready to jump all over this boat as soon as we land into Airlie Beach. Total borderline, total absolute borderline as to whether we make it or not. We really need a good run. We need a clean, good run and quite a lot of good fortune.
You just missed the turn off there. Time for the next one.
Mate, we just pulled into that gravel parking bay. Are you saying that left turn just before the parking bay is where we should have turned left, mate?
Yeah, right. The police station should have turned left.
Pilot's it up.
It's a disaster.
Where's your book, Andy?
Pilot Andy is lost at the worst possible moment.
We've got 20 minutes to make it. 20 minutes up our sleeve. We're here, aren't we? Right here? So where are you going to take us? We should have known where we were going. There's no value in having a pilot out the front of you, wide load, if he's missing turn-offs and he doesn't know where he's going.
After a 5,000-kilometre cross-continental marathon, 20 minutes now stand between success and failure.
I'm getting too wound up. We cannot be taken down the wrong way. We cannot keep making mistakes. One more blue, and I'm going to shut it down.
Russell McDonough and his team have been smashing cars at breakneck speed. But suddenly, Rowan and a 20-tonne loader have come to a grinding halt, putting the brakes on the whole operation.
That's your automatic transmission. I checked the level this morning. I put the thing back in there, tightened it up. Obviously it's built up with pressure during the day, come loose, didn't tighten it up enough, and it's just shot off, gone somewhere.
Russell don't know it yet, but when Rowan checked the transmission oil in the big girl there, he didn't quite put her on tight enough, and she's dropped off not that long ago.
Losing an oil cap is a tiny but serious mistake.
I saw him looking here and then looking here. He's driving very, very fast, trying to find it before I noticed that it was gone. You normally take the filler off and then you set it here, and then you put the oil in, pump, and you put that down, and then you put the cap back on. But if you get distracted, the cap stays sitting here, and then when you're driving around, it'll fall off.
Rowan needs to find the cap, and fast.
Because of the rough environment that we work in, the amount of dust, if it gets down in there, it can damage the transmission. Well, completely wreck it.
It's another test of Russell and Rowan's relationship.
I mean, Russ is pretty particular, you know, you make sure he does everything right, and that's annoying.
I might mention that I've had this loader for 6 years and hadn't got lost yet, till now.
I was driving it. It's my responsibility, and then, you know, shit breaks or shit gets lost. You get held responsible for it, sort of thing, and that's my fault. I can't blame anybody else.
The whole job is resting on Rowan's young shoulders. If he can't fix the problem, it'll be game over, and thousands of dollars in scrap metal will be left behind. Money Russell can't afford to lose. In Kalgoorlie, Bluesy and Nolene are playing a trucker's favourite game: waiting. After missing a deadline by 5 hours, they're starting to wonder if their customer has given up on them.
Yep. Moving, are we? Wrong one.
If in doubt, call the boss.
Sandor, you ring this who's up here and tell him we're here. Here he is.
Hey, look at that.
You going over there?
Yeah, I'm just going to open the gate first.
Yep.
And then you can follow me over, right?
I'll follow you over.
Cool.
No problem.
No worries.
Turns out they've been waiting at the wrong place. The yard is a few hundred metres further down the road.
We got him.
At last, Bluesy and Nolene can offload their freight.
Rightio. See you all.
See you.
But the job's not over yet. For the return journey, Bluesy and Nolene have to take an extra trailer. The best way to travel is to stack it. But after a long day, nerves are a little frayed.
Near the road. Rain did at times. Let's get the job done.
Finally, the last task: hitching up a tipper trailer the boss has just bought. It's empty and should be easy to hook up. Only problem, 2 inches of steel is standing in the way. It's part of a different hitching system and it won't work on Bluesy's truck.
I thought it was just 2 bolts, dude, and that's it. Wrong.
If Bluesy is to tow this trailer, he'll have to get it off.
No, get oxy-torch and cut it off. Nowhere to tie the strap down, bro.
With the problem piece of steel finally out of the way, Bluesy and Nolene can hitch up and head for home.
You know, it's good to get back behind the wheel and just wander along. That's the best bit, just wander along.
After helping a fellow trucker and a string of delays, they're 6 hours worse off. And in this business, time means money. But in the Outback, there's 2 unwritten rules that beat all others: get the job done and help a mate in need.
A little dark right now, to be honest with you. That was 10 minutes that we did not have up our sleeve.
After moving heaven and earth to make his deadline, Macca's pilot has slipped up with just 20 minutes to go.
What's happened here now is the pilot missed the turn-off, so we're having to take a longer route. I'm 110% focused on what's in front of the bonnet of this truck at the moment. I'm sitting here thinking about getting the job done.
It may be a longer route, but it has one advantage: the road's almost empty.
Just rolling into Proserpine now. We have 34 kilometres left to travel.
It's a lucky break for Andy. His new route is actually saving time.
Just racking up on the bridge now, Andy. Good work, mate. Big effort from Andy. So I gotta say, I'm feeling a big sigh of relief. I think I could probably drag it there if this engine breaks down now. I could drag it there on a piece of rope. 22 kilometres, Airlie Beach. But I can smell the Pacific Ocean, mate. I can smell it in my nostrils right now.
For Macca, It's the culmination of a huge job.
3 months of prep, a serious month of constructing cradles, altering heavy equipment to make the boat fit, a fortnight of organising paperwork, permits.
He's made it all the way from the Indian Ocean to the Pacific.
There you go, check that out.
His freight and his reputation are in one piece.
It's massive relief as far as we haven't had a failure, and I'm feeling that relief now. Cheers, Buster. Power to you. We're here.
After 5,000 kilometres and 8 days of hard trucking, the sailing regatta is yet to start. But Macca has won his race.
Tahichi.
A lost oil cap has stalled Russell McDonough.
Nah, this was all me, unfortunately.
Without it, the loader's engine could be ruined.
So we don't have another one, so we got to put something over it.
A makeshift rubber stopper will have to do.
That'll probably blow off too, but yeah.
While his pride's taken a knock, Rowan needs to get over it quickly and push on. This job needs finishing, as Russell badly needs the cash. Rowan, Russell and Danny have crushed and stacked a hoard of precious metal. But at the last, Russell strikes gold.
This motor is really hard to find. It doesn't appear to have any holes out the side or anything. Good running, reconditioned engine with close to $10,000. Far more than it will if I just squashed it. It's the equivalent to lifting out the back seat and finding $10,000.
It's just the sort of luck Russell needs.
He's looking up.
Just got to say thank you, Danny.
Hey, no
That's
dramas.
it. Yeah, this is where we used to be. This is what we used to do. And we just haven't done it for so long.
You know, you wouldn't miss it for the world, would you? Yeah, you got to be mad, eh?
You got to be mad.
You got to be mad.
It's been 5 long, hard days. After 2 months off the road, Russell's made it. His road train is loaded high with $20,000 worth of scrap and a bonus 10 grand. Finally, the veteran trucker is back.